some form of CBD that like damn near like, oh, wow, I can't even say the word.
Incapacitated.
Yeah, I can't even say the fucking word. It damn near does that to the people who take it, and it's like illegal apparently to sell. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about it actually.
What is it called?
Delta 8. But they keep saying Delta 8, and this Delta variant is like all over the news, so I'm always just like, they keep saying it, and I just hear it, and I keep hearing the fucking word Delta all the time.
Um, Delta 8 is a cannabis compound that has become popular because of its similarity to Delta 9, THC,
Oh,
the
okay.
main compound in cannabis that gets you high.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's just a form of CBD that actually gets you high, because CBD is famous for not getting you high. And I think that's why it's technically illegal. I don't know a lot of the logistics about it,
Yeah.
but all that shit is very hard to tell what is and what isn't
Oops.
legal.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Delta 8 versus Delta 9 THC.
Tetrahydrocannabinol. I
Yeah.
love I love that word.
Yeah,
Tetrahydro. That's
tetrahydrocannabinol.
just a good series of
Dude, well, okay, well now look up what is it? Fuck, I can't remember now. Oh, the terpenes, like the most popular terpenes in weed. Have you ever looked those up and seen what they're called?
No, I haven't.
It's interesting. I have like a physical sheet somewhere that lists all of them.
Oh wait, maybe it's something like this.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Visible
Some of these are not that
formula.
popular, but the
Campine.
most popular ones are like limonene, myrcene, terpen, terpenoline, and like
Yeah, terpenoline.
there's actually
Transneurolidol.
these are not that I don't know about a lot of these. There's some
Yeah,
on here that I've never seen
terpenes
before,
in cannabis.
but they also have some that I do know of, or they don't have any on this list that I do know of. That's weird.
There's delta 3 carrying.
Hmm.
Interesting.
See, I mean,
Yeah, there's so much I don't know about marijuana.
it's evolved so much from just like before you would buy it in high school or some shit, and it would be you never knew really what it was actually.
Yeah,
Like, could be Reggie, it could be K2, like not
shit.
even real marijuana. I don't know, like it's so weird to go from that to this whole scientific like chemi- chemical like natural chemical shit. I don't know. It's cool though.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, well, obviously people have been smoking cannabis
Mhm.
for thousands of years or 1,000 years or
Mhm.
a long time, or chewing it. Well, I guess I don't know if people chew it. They chew tobacco,
Yeah.
like you
And
chew
like
and tobacco.
stuff that
But
had caffeine
just
in it and shit.
generally, humans like taking the plants around them and brewing them into things that change their experience. Like that's a tale as old as time. Um, Even though we weren't told that in schools.
Right.
But it's like what they were consuming versus what we have now is so different. And when you see, if you just look at it, even just on concentration, like level of THC concentration, it's like the chart. If you could chart it over the last 30 years, it'd just be sky high.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, and that's the same
the
for like
marijuana on
beer.
shelves today.
That's the same for beer and wine, I'm pretty sure, too. Cuz beer and wine were like a common drink. Like people would drink it more than water apparently
Well, yeah,
because it
I've
would like
actually
kill
heard
the
about this.
bacteria and shit.
Yeah, like if you the alcohol,
Mhm.
and they would do this with wine as well. The alcohol would like kill the bacteria and would have it be cleaner water.
Mhm.
So they would like, yeah, everyone would just drink beer, but it was super low alcohol beer
Mhm.
because they just brewed it in, some fucking pot or whatever
Right,
in a
right.
hut. And so,
Well,
yeah,
I
people
wish I
drinking wine, drinking beer all day, and that would be most of their water intake. And they might only drink water if they found like a really clean stream
yeah.
or if it rained or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And then all the same, you could imagine, I don't know, maybe those people, of course, it's a different context because that's like drinking for survival. But,
Right. Right. Well,
you know,
and
they kids might have been smoking on joints, like kids in the tribe.
yeah, well, and that's what's weird about cannabis is that we don't maybe I'm ignorant to it or maybe we don't have that history like we do about alcohol with cannabis or it seems
Yeah.
like it's not in a lot of history or maybe people didn't want to talk about it. I don't know. I wish we had some kind of historic timeline for cannabis, a more present one, and there might be one out there. I don't know, um, but that's something I thought of this morning actually, because it. I feel like it's easy for a lot of people to be like, oh, they would burn it in like such an. They have evidence of this or that. I just don't want to be another person that I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know. I just looked that up on DuckDuckGo, and there's like some stuff about it, but it's like you don't really know if it's true. Like you have to verify. Obviously, I can't do that
Yeah.
here live. But obviously, oh yeah, okay. So this is something like that we've heard about that like George Washington was really into hemp and
Yeah.
like had a huge hemp plantation, and I don't know if he smoked it or if there's ever any reports of that.
Well,
They're
the thing
mostly
is,
just using the commodity.
you can make pretty much anything out of hemp. So I mean, that's why they would have hemp, but hemp is just the male version of the cannabis plant.
Oh,
The female version is the flower that buds and then you smoke said bud, like the pollen basically, the keef. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
that's like the female plant like produces almost as a like is it a part of I don't know that reproduction process, I guess you'd say.
I would guess, I don't know for sure, but from my understanding that seems to be the case. But
Yeah.
um so I mean, I'm sure not only George Washington but multiple historical figures had hemp
Yeah.
crops until about probably the 1900s, maybe like late 1800s
It says
is what it
here
seems.
on this I'm reading this article, Renaissance of Cannabis. It says that during the Mexican Revolution in the 20s, immigrants bring recreational marijuana use to US.
Mm.
That's in the 20s, and then it says in the 30s, anti-marijuana propaganda spreads public fear.
And there's a lot of
So,
racism involved
yeah.
in that propaganda because they would just like make white people scared of going crazy and acting out essentially like quote unquote just like
Yeah.
really fucked up uh yeah stereotypes involved with it.
No, and I heard that's why they actually pushed the name marijuana
Mm.
because like that's some I think like a Mexican slang term for
Yeah.
like tobacco
Okay.
or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I should probably verify that,
it makes sense.
but they like wanted it to sound like like exotic for the
Yeah.
average American, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the devil's lettuce. It'll make you go insane.
Yeah, and everyone like talks about the classic. What is it? Reefer Madness.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
I have a sign somewhere. I could probably grab it. Hold on, I'll grab it real quick. Sorry.
Dude, yeah.
It's a silly sign. I bought it when I was young and high and dumb. I'll be right back.
Well, I feel like it's popular even. just to embrace how ridiculous those fear campaigns were, all the drug fear campaigns. Um, Seems like a good collectible for a lot of people to have. Did you find it?
Yeah. Yes. Um,
Yeah.
it says you can read it backwards, but that's what it looks like. But I'll read it.
Oh no, we can see it.
Oh, you can see
It
it
just
forward.
looks backwards on your
Oh, okay,
side.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how Zoom works. A
So
vicious racket with its
yeah,
arms around your children. Damn, that's a bar.
and it says yeah,
Also, I
marijuana.
love that graphic, the devil with that
Right.
fine lady.
It just
Just
says
like
like
it's sick.
sin, degradation, vice, insanity, devil's harvest, the smoke of hell, debauchery, the truth about marijuana. It's just like an old propaganda. It's not actually old. They like remade it. I bought it at fucking. That's either a Hastings sticker or um, vintage stock.
Yeah.
Shouts out Hastings if you remember Hastings. If you're old like us. Damn, that's gonna be one of those stores now. When we're like, did you ever go to Hastings?
Hardly.
Damn,
Is that like vintage stock?
they
Or
had
just like
everything,
old
bro. They had
old
everything
movies?
from Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments to a library. They
Yu-Gi-Oh!
had video games. They had movies. Um, yeah, it was cool. Comic books,
Yeah.
like super weird graphic novels and shit. Anime
Are they?
shit.
Did they get like wiped out, like
Yeah,
Blockbuster or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
it's rough.
most of their shit was just old like '90s, early 2000s stuff. Basically,
Um,
there was a lot of horror movie stuff too. My parents never allowed me to like watch anything, you know, too crazy. So when I would go to Hastings, that would be the time that I could like sneak away and go look at all of it, but never like watch it until I was older.
yeah,
But I would just look at all of it.
dude. Now I'm just looking up old posters, old marijuana like fear posters.
Weird orgies, wild parties, unleashed
Unleashed passions. Yeah, this is like whoever designs these posters. Like they need to
There's a
design
syringe.
for shows. Like this would
Yeah,
be
for
sick.
real. Oh man, that would be a sick shit. Well,
Yeah, like lust, crime, sorrow, hate, shame, despair.
those are all like band names.
Yeah, man's from Oklahoma. uh, it's crazy with like Hastings and Block. Well, I don't know about Hastings, obviously, but like with Blockbuster,
hmm
like MBA students, they like study. What do they call that? Like a case study. That's it. They'll do like case studies for like Blockbuster, like how Blockbuster got wiped out.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a post analysis
yeah.
of like the death of the company. Apparently, that's a lot of what you learn if you're getting an MBA.
Mm.
I've I have a friend that went through that, and he was like, you just study a bunch of cases throughout history and see why a bunch of stuff didn't work.
Damn.
I was like, that's pretty cool. Like you're studying like seemingly if you're getting an MBA, you
hmm
want to start a business. I don't know, I guess. And so you're like studying everyone in the past that's like
Yeah,
died
you're
before.
doing like history on it almost. Like
Yeah.
I wonder how much longer it's gonna be until we have like revamped video stores.
Mm.
Like they're going out of business now, but I wonder if we'll see in our lifetime, like when we're like in our 40s or 50s, people our age will start opening like mom and pop video stores.
See, at that point, will it be like an antique store? Will it be like you're sitting on wealth? Because people open like coin and gold and jewelry stores
hmm
and or like antique stores, and like
No,
sometimes it's like shit, but then
no.
sometimes it's like they're sitting on a fortune
I'm
and they just open up
saying
a store and they're selling it slowly, like that kind of.
I'm saying like what if the market when the our generation gets older, what if the market for like VHS shit gets revamped because I don't know, some kind of like trend or something. Who knows? Like it would just be crazy in the future to see something similar to like a arcade bar, but
Yeah,
it's like a VHS blockbuster store basically that you can rent. movies or buy them. Probably, I don't know.
Honestly, I bet that'll exist in some places because it's always nostalgia.
Hmm.
Because that's
And
why
that's
arcade
yeah,
will
that
always come back around
yeah, that's exactly
because
my
it's
point.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not even about necessarily the games
Mm-mm.
themselves. It's about the location and the aesthetic and like the feel of it. And so anything that has that characteristic, I feel like will be brought back to life at some point,
Right. I guess
unless
it'd
it's
make more sense if it was
totally
DVDs,
overdone.
but like I don't know.
But
They
also like VHS, you think, or like if we like put in, I don't know, some. I'm trying to think some like if we put in the Sandlot and like a CRT TV and a
yeah,
VCR and like watched it today, like it would look
a
like
certain way.
there's subtle differences. Like it
Yeah.
would probably be really I don't know, nostalgic.
Hmm.
So I could see people, I don't know, getting really into that. But like with collecting old video games too,
Hmm.
like people take that seriously and
Yeah. They have like rooms dedicated to it in their houses
yeah.
and shit. It's sick.
I mean that's I don't know if how much of that stuff will actually be worth
Mm.
a bunch of money in the future, but
But it's nostalgia.
yeah.
Like it just goes back to being nostalgic, I guess. But that's why I like the Switch. I can play like pretty much every old Nintendo game on my Switch
Yeah.
for like 199 a month or something. Not every game, but all the good one, like all the really good ones. And I think it's in a rotation or they slowly add more games.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it doesn't have that same feel, the same analog like feel where you're like, all right, it's time to grind out of like a whole night of playing Zelda or something. Or I would do that with like Sonic the Hedgehog on my Sega, like just trying to get to the highest fucking level I could get to.
Yeah.
And
Because every game was just super hard.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, people obviously go crazy for that stuff. So it makes sense that it would be around for a while.
Hmm.
I mean, it defined it. I don't know if you could say it defined a generation, but it definitely is now because way more people now play video games
Hmm.
in larger groups just across the whole world.
Right.
And and that's why when like if you mention something like opening an old video store, I'm just like why do that in the real world, you
Hmm.
know? Like why not just open a VR store if everyone's going to be spending, if no one's going down Main Street,
Yeah.
like you would open it, I don't know, or you would find some way to bring that experience whatever you're offering to them. But
Well, I guess in my
totally,
head, I'm trying to live more in the real world personally, like the older I'm getting. And so that's kind of where my perspective is going. But that's true. Like, I don't really think our world is headed that way. My world, my little personal world might be, but
yeah. I mean, that's a good thing to go after. Like, just a general thing that everyone should is like, as I
mhm.
get older, I want to live more in reality,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
more
I
in the real
mean,
world. It's like that's probably good, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it is for me. Maybe it isn't for some other people. And that's fine. Like, there's no problem with that. But really, the pandemic showed me that shit. Just like being outside again. I guess skateboarding did too. These are all things that I do when I'm high. So this is good that we're talking about this.
yeah,
And we're talking
coming
about
back around. Well, see, I think that like video games and
being
weed are
outside.
kind of
Being
well, video
outside,
games,
video
weed,
games, eating great food, drinking good drinks. Like nothing that's insane, nothing that's what is it? Debauchery or whatever. I mean, it could be, but
yeah,
if you let it, but it just I don't know, yeah. If you're generally a happy person, it kind of like can amplify that at times. It's really
totally, and
cool.
totally, yeah, and that's where I think like you have to be uh, you know, you have to your life in general has to be in order.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes into all of the stigma and like negatives of weed. I actually hated weed most throughout my teenage years because just some people I knew and like
Mm-hmm.
my brothers, like it seemed like something that was draining
Mm-hmm.
and like took away people's energy and like excitement and creativity. And that was the opposite of what I wanted. So I had kind of a negative stigma around it. And I think I'm a little more balanced now. Obviously, I smoke marijuana now, and I feel like I get the benefits from it. I shouldn't say marijuana. I guess I should say cannabis. I don't know
It
if
don't
that's
matter
like
anymore. I don't think
yeah.
that, and that's what's cool though is I don't
Well,
think
now I'm
it's
like thinking of it.
yeah, yeah. But it's cool. Like I think now we're getting to a point in society where it just doesn't really even it just doesn't even matter. It's like so normalized.
Yeah,
I don't think we're ever going to go back to it being illegal. And I'm sure people thought about this with alcohol too. Like after prohibition, they were like, they ain't never going to do that again. like,
yeah.
and so I kind of feel like that's what. Anyways, not to get too deep into what it's called.
No, yeah, totally. That's prohibition was crazy though.
hmm
Like that's
Well, and so is the
the drug
making
war.
making yeah the drug war for one, but also making cannabis illegal. Like, it is
Yeah.
crazy. It's fucking insane. It helps with so much shit, and we'll be broken records if we start going into all of that. But like,
Yeah.
it is, but it can be detrimental too, though. Like, I mean, if you're younger, and
Well,
kind of like what you were saying earlier, like I'm sure the people that you saw growing up were at least 5 years, like maybe older or around your age or something. And so it's kind of like when you're younger, it can for sure, if you already have like some issues that you're too young to even know how to like approach them, sometimes cannabis can like not help with that. It's,
yeah. Yeah, and I think that like with there's a lot of subtle ideas around it, but if I just think about it as like video games,
hmm
like just weed and video games.
Right.
Like if you got people or let's just say kids or young people and like what they love to do, what they're mostly doing is playing video games with each other. It's what they really care about. It's hard to like in that scenario, I think it's almost detrimental. Like
hmm
because I don't know, just the effects of the drug. Like it makes you want to stay in place doing what you're
Yeah,
doing.
that's for
And
sure.
video games are a unique substance. You could call it, you know, in
Yeah.
itself is in that it engages you so much. Like
Well,
it
it's
engages.
stimulating, and when you're stoned, like that stimulation is almost amplified. And I
Mhm.
only say that from experience because 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years ago, especially, that's pretty much all I did at one point was get stoned and play video games.
Yeah.
um,
No, and when you see how powerful of kind of a incentive black hole that can be for
yeah,
young people,
yeah,
because it engages like video games, they engage the part of your brain that's like problem solving
hmm
and like working. Um, and all of the same, you could be, you could have, you know, gotten high and I don't know, done something with your hands, or I code a lot of times and I'm high, and it's not always great, but like in the right setting, it's like yeah, I'm amplified, I'm tunneled in,
hmm
and you know, I feel relaxed when normally, like sometimes doing these kinds of things, getting into your work, it can be like really stressful. Like your cortisol levels rise, and you know, THC does
hmm
suppress those and upregulate, obviously, dopamine,
right,
which is what you're seeking when you're trying to work.
hmm
And so it's kind of a weird, like I've thought about it a lot that I think like weed has a bad rap and it can be associated with these kinds of just like doing nothing.
right,
Um, but at the same time, it can encourage the opposite. But it's like really nuanced depending on what your lifestyle is like. And really, that's what it is. Like, what is your lifestyle like? Do you have friends or a family that's like pulling you back into the real world? Or is everything that you're looking for in life increasingly on the other side of the screen? And then, like weed puts you in the perfect state to zone out, just like
Mm-hmm.
everything else in your
Mm-hmm.
life. And so, like, I think that, and there's a lot, it's not always just video games. Like, for some people, it's Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
which I can't imagine. Like, just like watching Netflix again. Like that's not my thing.
Like all
I
day.
have to have it.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people like that's what they would love to do is
Right,
just
right.
their body as still as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, yeah.
just like watch tons of Netflix and eat ice cream.
Yeah. Oh,
And
dude, you just fucking reminded me I have ice cream in the freezer. Wow,
cool.
man. Thank you. Thank you
Cool.
for that. You are,
You can hit that after this episode.
yeah.
Um, just get outside afterwards. Take a run.
No, man, that's for the week. I'm on the weekend, baby. I was just about to get
Yeah.
into that though. I mean, it like um if you want to use marijuana to amplify your life in a positive way, like running and eating edibles is like a crazy fucking experience.
That
But
seems pretty unintuitive to me.
it takes a lot of work because you have to stay very hydrated and you have to make sure that you eat a lot. Not a lot, but like enough to you have to be responsible with your diet essentially. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes that can be hard to regulate that like when you're stoned or you're trying to use it for medical purposes. Like that is kind of a side effect that can sneak up on people for sure if they're not
Mhm.
careful. Like you said, just like getting comfortable, getting used to sitting and like just eating. You know, you have like good turkey sandwich with tomatoes and like lettuce and stuff, and then you also have Cheetos, but then it just turns into you're eating the bag of Cheetos, like which is what I did. So it just like you have to stay on top of it and like almost have a routine and start treating it kind of like you would be taking a pill or something. I mean, that's what I
Mhm.
had to do. I'm speaking my experience pretty much, but um that's the way that I've seen it like benefit me um is through doing that because it helps with a lot of everyday issues that I have. um and I don't know, it if you time it right, it can amplify doing like strenuous things in sometimes in a negative way, but then whenever I'm done I feel like I overcame something like really hard. And maybe it wasn't that hard, maybe it's just my perception. But it still gives
Yeah.
me it gives me that like reward that video games was giving me, but I'm being active and I'm actually like using my body and I start thinking deeper about it, and that kind of like helps fuel me to do it. Marijuana for me helps me focus basically, and I think that's
Totally.
kind of what you were kind of getting at. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and you're pointing out something good that like you're tapping into like sometimes deeper introspective thoughts. At least I think if you're using it in the right context, and that's where I get a lot of my main advantages, like getting um, being high sometimes at night when I'm just like a little more slowed down and I'm thinking,
Hmm.
and I just see through my bullshit. I'm just like it just feels like you can see right through your ego
Yeah.
even though you're still there, like it's not like psychedelic and it totally taken up the equation. But I don't know. For me, it's I feel like I tap into deeper like introspective thoughts,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of like I'm always just like why do I worry so much,
Right. Right.
or like I should tell people I love them more. Like those
Yeah.
are the types of thoughts I have, and that's obviously it's one of its best manifestations, but you got to look at the other side, and I spend a lot of time thinking about the other side. That's why I'm talking about it so much. Just that, like, so many people, and like I was shocked when I started smoking, how much people smoke,
Yeah.
like in
It's
in a
crazy.
week or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you hear like I would be in phases where I would smoke every day, and that
Hmm.
was like a big deal. And but then I would hear just what someone like a friend I had who didn't even necessarily talk about it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, "Oh yeah, I smoke like a quarter every week,"
Right.
and I'm what? And maybe people would be hearing that now, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's about where I'm at."
Yeah.
Not judging, but it's like that was crazy for me to hear because just a little bit would do the trick for me. But
Right.
there's people that are way beyond that, and
Dude,
then when
there's
like
always
concentrates and
there
pins
there is
and
always someone. There's always a bigger fish
yeah,
in the tolerance world. For sure. There were times in my life where my tolerance was greater, and now it's pretty good where it's at for me right now. Um,
well, and you hear that and you're just like that seems like gluttony and
hmm It can
a
be.
strange kind of it. Yeah,
You get desensitized to it pretty quick, especially with those dabs. Those dabs will also sneak
yeah,
up on you for sure. Um, Happened to me like for a very brief moment, and then I kind of realized it and had to lay off. But um, yeah, there is a sense of that. It's just like anything else, and it can be super pleasurable. So,
yeah,
and even if you're not in a good time, it can be like having a good time in life. It can be pleasurable. So then that can become like something that people rely on to give them pleasure. That's
yeah,
when
like a crutch.
that gets dangerous. Can be,
Yeah, uh,
but I get it.
yeah, no. What do you think? Like, you are obviously working in the marijuana industry now.
Hmm.
Like, what do you think when you look at the people that you work with, or like even the people above you that like might own the company? Like, they're all potheads. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm just assuming.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, um, from my understanding, like one or two, they don't smoke until the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like one of my bosses actually, like when I first got there, was like, "Yeah, I don't smoke until after 6 o'clock when we're all off, because like I can't get any work done." And after working there, I can see like he's busy as fuck. Like
Yeah.
every single second of the day, that man is there. Because it's a smaller company, but they have really good product. So they're moving shit really fast. And it's
Oh,
like, what's up?
you just reminded me of something that that I'm totally gonna forget.
Okay.
But you're talking about like can't not being able to get work done, like
Hmm.
because you're smoking. I heard recently that the group MAPS, which is multidisciplinary association for psychedelic
Hmm.
studies, I think
Okay.
something like that. Anyway, they're huge. They're like one of the biggest psychedelic nonprofit organizations that are like trying to conduct studies and make it to where you can do this stuff legally in centers. Anyway, I was watching an interview with I think the founder, and he was saying that they have what they call I don't remember what they call it. Shit, I think they just call it like smokable tasks or something like that. Like they have
Oh,
certain
yeah. Yeah.
things that like if they're gonna have a meeting,
Hmm.
like a creative meeting or something, or even just like some of them like doing paperwork,
Right.
like they'll designate it like this is a smokable task, and they have areas where they'll go
Yep.
and
And
they're provided
enjoy.
like free
Yeah.
cannabis and they just smoke it on
Yep.
site and then go do their work.
Yep.
And he was saying that he thinks that's going to be like a part of almost work culture wellness or work wellness culture.
Hmm.
Like people are going to have that shit in their
Hey,
company, like the same type of
I mean,
regulations. I think,
I technically have a smokable task at my job. That's kind of it's funny that you mentioned
yeah,
that because it's like he definitely doesn't like
yeah, because he's rushing around,
yeah,
like,
and
being
I don't know about
boss.
my other boss. Um, I'm not really sure. I didn't ask. But yeah, for sure, everyone up there enjoys marijuana at some point in the day. I'll say that. But I and a couple of the other people that work there, we smoke before we go in, like, or I'd take a lot of edibles. because I'm just
You go
stuffing.
in?
Yeah, well, and like throughout the day and shit, like, cause I just stuff joints. I stuff pre rolls all day. I stuff about 1,000 to 1,500, uh, or I can every single day. I'm trying to get.
What's your official job title again?
I call myself a holy roller, but
Holy roller.
I think it maybe a joint technician.
Joint technician? That's great.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just a pre-roll guy. How about
Yeah.
that? But I do take pride in my work. Sadly, I don't have any here. Um, but uh, they look like some Louisville Sluggers, that's for sure.
I don't know what that means, but
It's
that's
a
it.
baseball bat.
Oh, okay.
um,
Baseball bats.
yeah, I mean it's been cool. It's been cool to kind of listen in on, because I work in like a area where I can hear my bosses talking to pretty much everyone else in the company. It's a pretty
Yeah.
small room, so I can hear them talking about sales and moving this and that and getting transports. I might be transporting soon. That might be my next job title, driving from city to city in Oklahoma, delivering their product. Um,
Yeah.
but we're just waiting on paperwork for that.
Dude, that'd be so sick. We'll
Yeah.
definitely have to do a podcast while you're driving hot.
Yeah, dude. I'm down. I'm kind of scared. I'm like, man, should I get a gun?
Shit, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like if you're packing something, you're asking for something. You know,
Yeah. Because if you just get, I don't know,
dude. If
stopped.
I got stopped by gunpoint and someone was like, "Give me all your shit," I'd be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like I'd literally just be like,
Well,
"I'm
I
not
mean,
about
even
to
if you
fucking
have a
die."
gun, you would probably
Yeah,
do that because you'd be like, this isn't my shit. Like, I'm not risking my life for this.
yeah. And then as they drive away, I'd probably shoot them. But, uh,
Yeah.
um, no. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's been cool. Before that, I started. I was a trimmer for a while. I don't know if I ever talked about that. Um,
I don't remember.
but trimming was it was all right. It was
Repetitive.
yeah, just constant trimming the marijuana plant of all the like leaves that didn't look good, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like we were the people that would the nugs just have to look pretty for the dispensaries or whatever.
Yeah.
So went from that to a processing place where they make concentrate and pre rolls. So that's that's what they do at my the place I work.
Is
There's
it a
like
big facility?
no, it's pretty small, but they're building a new facility in Blanchard that is like super clean, because the one I work in now, there's literal like chemists in the background. Like they make concentrate, like hundreds and hundreds of grams of concentrate every day.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
there's like an explosion proof room in there and shit with like industrial size containers of dry ice and shit that they somehow use, like they have huge like bags of marijuana, and I have to go watch them do it one of these days, but they take it into that explosion safe room and they compress it, and they like do something with the dry ice to it, and and then like over in the corner of the room there's like beakers and all these fucking like mad scientist looking glassware just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's been pretty cool. I have
Damn.
no idea what they're doing, but I just watch them.
Well, it's crazy how much, because marijuana has been legal in Oklahoma for like
Two
three
years,
years.
two or
Yeah,
three.
2 or 3. And before, I mean, before that, like Oklahoma kind of flip-flopped from being like we're in the middle of the Bible Belt.
Mm-hmm.
We generally have strict regulations on most things that you think about, like alcohol, tobacco, etc. and it was the same thing. Like, as far as I understood, you could spend a night in jail for being pulled over with like a joint or
Right.
something like that in your car. And now every individual can grow, what is it, 6 plants, 12
Yeah.
plants?
And you can have 6 plants and you can have an insane amount on you at a time.
Yeah, like
Like a very
a
liberal,
half a pound or something, or
I have no idea, but it is like a very liberal amount of marijuana.
yeah. And if like you have six, is it 6 or 12 plants?
6, I'm pretty sure.
Six.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's still a shit ton. Like if you see six, like full, like
It,
I had a friend that I visited that had like an indoor, like a whole room dedicated to growing his own plants,
mhm.
and crazy like hydro setup with like lights and all sorts of shit. And I was like, damn, that's 6 plants. Like I had never seen it in person.
Yeah, dude.
That's so much.
It's
Like that's gonna
crazy.
like you're good. You and your friends and your family could be good for a year. Like there,
Yeah.
Oklahoma is basically like, yeah, you can homestead your own,
Yep. Yeah.
your own goods.
That's why I'm trying to get a house out here, like real
Yeah,
fucking soon, is so I can grow veggies and grow marijuana plants. Like it's been a dream now for like only a year, but it sounds nice. And I mean a good plant, if you like feed it well and everything, can yield about 3 to 5 ounces,
yeah,
and that's 28 grams. Like an ounce is 28 grams, so that's a lot of fucking weed. I mean, and if you have 6 of those,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Damn.
Now
Yeah,
it may not be like the exotic super high end weed you can go buy in the dispensary, but that would be like unless you get really fucking good at it. I mean, I'm sure there's some local farmers that aren't in dispensaries that grow some like insane marijuana, but you're still going to have a lot of it, and you can make butter out of it, you can make topicals, you can make, I mean, with
if you
the
go down the rabbit hole and that stuff, like you can
anything you
have
can
your
think
own
of.
trading post
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the shit that you can make with hemp.
Yeah. I mean, baked goods, you can make a business like making baked goods. I had a seltzer water that was marijuana. Like, there's like so many fucking things that you can. And it's cool because we're in the middle of discovering everything that you can do with it. I feel like maybe just the beginning actually, but
Um, ha, have you seen the meme that's like, well, like guys only want one thing, and it's so obvious or something like that, and it's like a picture of like a homestead, like a diagram. I'm trying to find it.
no, I've not seen that, but I think I can relate.
Shit. Like here it is. Like guys only want one thing, and it's so obvious.
Damn,
It's
that
like,
would
yeah.
be insane.
It's like
That's a lot of
yeah,
money.
there's your plants. You got the food. Got a few animals. Anyway, yeah, it's funny. Like I see the sentiment changing a lot of ways. That like that's
Hmm.
more of the direction that people want versus maybe they dreamed about having a cool apartment in New York City. I don't know. That
Dude,
was me.
no, I would rather have that than a expensive ass car or like I don't know, expensive ass vacations. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's like bit like in building on to something, like having something that's, and this is why I think fundamentally property rights are kind of important, because when you have something that you you're gonna have it in 10 years, like you're gonna benefit from it. Maybe your children will, hopefully, or like your family. Like when you have those kind of incentives, it's just like you just want to build and invest into like your land or into whatever it is. And I think guys feel like this especially, which is why we love like any video game like any crafting video game or video games where you build your own base and like
hmm
build up stuff, or even just the idea of RPG or building up your character over time. Like we kind of just want to invest in something and like grow it and make it better and
hmm
make it prosperous. And like that's a good, at its best, you're probably just having a humble homestead. At its worst, it's a lot more nefarious, but
hmm
I don't know. I was thinking about that recently.
I mean,
Um,
it's a cool idea and dream to have for sure. In my opinion, I also might be really stoned and overthinking it, but it's what I want to do. I want to be loud. I want to play instruments really loud.
yeah,
That's honestly the main reason. But um, I also feel like I'd just be happier out there. I've lived enough in the city to like, I don't know. I've sold weed in the city. I wanna grow weed and sell it in the country. That'd be cooler.
yeah, like on the side of the road, like
Like a
country
watermelon.
southern peaches,
Yeah.
something.
Country southern grass.
We saw out here in Utah. What was it? Sweet. It said sugary sweet corn. So it said, what does that mean? Is that what y'all eat up here for breakfast?
Sugary sweet corn.
That cereal?
Yeah, for real.
I guess. Well, you, I think about this too. Like you hear about all of these, just thousands of different studies and like little bits of evidence about like, how fluoride affects our health and plastic affects our sperm count and
Hmm.
and this reduces your dopamine and like we've just have all of these unnatural kind of uh, substances and
Hmm.
food sources and things, cleaning products that we're putting into our bodies all the time. And I imagine like how different would it be if you were really eating like the real organic stuff, or like if you had like a reality show and you took someone who's just like in the city in like a New York apartment, they just eat like McDonald's and I don't know, just like consume all the worst shit, and you just like put them on a homestead and like have them eat healthy.
Hmm.
Like what transformation would happen? Like
Yeah.
super size me, but like super organic
Right. Right.
and with no exposure.
I
Okay,
think it'd
and
be
then
great.
you hear like Wi-Fi signal.
Hmm.
Like that's a whole other realm of stuff. It's like I can't even begin to think about that. If my Wi-Fi signal is killing my sperm,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what I'm gonna do.
Right. Right.
I can't fight that battle.
I do think about living that life though a lot. The older I'm getting, like I said, the more I want to be in the real world, and the real world it has a lot of work to do, and so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. It'd be a cool experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see that reality show for sure.
Hmm. I'm sure there is one, but the sugary sweet corn reminds me. What is your favorite thing to eat when you're stoned?
I don't know.
I know it's a loaded question slash on the spot.
No, I mean I'll have to say that recently I had like a really juicy steak that I grilled,
Mm.
and right when I was about to take it off the grill, like 2 minutes before, me and Jana just came in here and smoked a bowl real quick. And it was after work. It was a good day. I was just like in the perfect state.
Hmm.
It was just like truly a next level human experience. Like when a steak hits just right and you're in the right place where you're like, oh my gosh, life is so good. Like it's so
Right.
crazy how my life, like all those thoughts rushing through my head. I'm just chowing down. So anyway, that's an answer. But that's not what you eat normally. And see, what that question makes me think of is like the worst things, because sometimes the worst things I eat
Hmm.
is when I get stony bologna,
Oh hell yeah! I eat really bad shit, but I like cookies.
pork rinds.
I like
You said
cookies.
cookies?
Yeah, like fresh baked cookies.
See, that's dangerous. You're
I
just gonna eat the whole
know.
pan.
I know, but dude, they're just like way too fucking good. I've gotten it to where I can have like one, but also the only caffeine that I drink is soda. A good soda after I'm stoned for me. It's just the sugary things. I got to be careful, man. I'm getting older. Can't be having all this sugar.
Yeah.
Um, but meals probably I don't know. Broccoli's good. Broccoli and like I don't know. Rice is good. Like food with rice. That's so fucking. Bro, I just like food. Let's go with that.
Yeah, anything's good.
Anything pretty much.
Yeah.
Even like I'll have I've had a salad when I'm stoned and
Well, that's
good
the
as
thing is
fuck.
like you can actually it goes back to like the video games example, like having Cheetos in your kitchen is like the video games
Right.
example.
Right,
You
right.
know, like if you get stoned, if you get in that different state or any kind of like altered state, same thing if you get like tipsy for people who are into that.
Mhm.
Um, you're gonna go for the lowest common denominator thing.
Mhm.
But it's like if you set out the sal like if you know you're gonna eat a healthy meal and you like set it out and you're like, I feel good about this and I know I'm doing it, and then you get high, you're just way more into it and
Mhm.
appreciate it. I don't know.
And
That's yeah, I've noticed.
well, and that's kind of what I was mentioning with like the running and like drinking water and eating food.
Mhm.
That is exactly what I was talking about. Like
Yeah, and it's like you set it out
yeah,
up front.
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
intention is that you know you're gonna do it.
yeah. So then afterwards, when you're feeling the effects of having healthy food in your system, you're like, damn, you're like introspective. And that's kind of what got me on smoothies too. And I put like multivitamin in my smoothie now and protein. And I think that's where I get a lot of my nutrients. And I eat that at the beginning of the day. Um, and it feels like I drink coffee without the jitters. Like I'm just aware and like ready to go, start my day, stuff the pre rolls. It's like my cup of coffee in the morning.
Go roll up your sleeves and go roll some joints for the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. We need to like push our I don't know. We need to make personas of ourselves for the podcast because it's like
Yeah.
joint joint roller and the software engineer.
Right,
Like
right.
that's our podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they just stuck me. So it's a machine that does 169 at a time. And you put each of the like tubes, like the sleeves in these holes, and
Mhm.
then I have a picture I'll just pull up, but you dump the product into said holes, and then there's a button that vibrates them up and down like this, like they're jumping around, pogoing, and it packs the product down into um, the machine.
Yeah. I this is a theme I always appreciate. Like some of the best technology and the best machines, they use like the forces of nature.
Yeah,
They
just
just
gravity.
leverage the force of nature. And it's like what you're basically saying is like they're just doing the easiest thing you could do, which is just like shake and pop up,
Yep,
like, and then gravity's doing its thing and like packing it down.
yep. It looks like a honeycomb.
Whoa, yeah, that's crazy.
Dump it in there, and yeah, pull them out. I have a little wooden thing that I like tamp down the front, close it up. I can do two at a time. That's why I got the job. Cuz I literally they were like telling me to do one and then they came back and I got it to where I could put two in my finger and tamp them like in the amount of time they were doing one. And I was just like
Yeah,
doing two at a time like
call him Joshy 2 times.
yeah, I literally was like I
Do the two
need a
times work
fucking
as one man.
job, bro. I need a job. Like
Yeah.
um yeah, but it's been cool. It honestly has been kind of cool cuz I get to like basically it's my section, it's my department almost. Uh they just hired a new like floor manager and me and him started working there at the same time, so we became kind of like friends
Hmm.
before he was a floor manager. So now he's kind of like he comes to me if he needs like extra help and shit. His name's Derek. He's really cool. Um but uh yeah, he's the one that just came back and so I could joke with him like, "Hey, I could do two at a time." And like I wasn't really being serious, but like he noticed it and was like, "Yeah, you should just do this." So now he lets me like call the shots on the product, like if I need to pull stems out and shit, like what the quality needs to be. I don't know. I'm like into it. It feels cool to have a job like that finally.
No, that's sweet. I mean, weirdly enough,
I got to get
marijuana just.
past. It seems kind of dorky, but sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, no. I was just gonna say like marijuana seems like one of the better industries that's growing
Hmm.
right now. It's crazy to think like if you imagine industries that are really growing and good to get into, you'd be like tech, real estate, maybe, I don't know, marijuana.
Right,
Like
right.
it's weird that that would pop up there.
Hmm.
And it's almost like the marijuana industrialization, or like, that that industry should have boomed like 80 years ago or
Right,
something, like
right.
along with tobacco, which
Yeah.
we all love what tobacco has become.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We
I don't
picked the
know.
wrong fucking horse.
Yeah.
Like we picked the wrong goddamn horse. The whole world
Yeah,
did.
imagine if we had normalized like throughout the 40s and 50s how people are just like in ad agency offices just fucking smoking all day.
Smoking joints
Yeah,
instead.
imagine, yeah. If
I
they're
wonder like where the yeah, I wonder where the world would be at if that was the case. Well, and I mean, but
World
it's
War
also
II.
like we can't be. This is something I have to remind myself constantly. It makes me feel so good, but it also has probably done a number on my lungs. Like if we're being honest, you know, like you're still smoking plant matter, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where the edibles are coming in for me. The older I get, the more I try and eat those or drink it somehow, or just like put it on my skin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because like it can be easy to live a healthy life, work out, high as fuck, but you're smoking like 3 blunts a day, but you're still active and you're still like, you know, but
Yeah, it's
you could be like destroying your lungs though, even if you're running, like
hmm no, and that's because that's a situation I'm basically stuck in. Like I don't smoke that much now that I'm out here, but um I still think like I don't. This isn't the end game. I don't want to be
right.
inhaling smoke my whole life. But it's like it's illegal here, so
Mm.
I can't just go to the store and get something. I roll on my elbows at night or something
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
That's
Yeah.
gonna put me in the zone. I don't know. So it kind of sucks that you're forced into just doing it illegally, doing it off the grid, off the books.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like in the legal realm, it's crazy too because it's not federally legal, but it's legal in certain like local or state
Mm.
jurisdictions.
Mhm.
And so a lot of the marijuana companies, they can't get bank accounts. So they have like cash runners, and they have like semi like security, like private military forces
Yeah,
are
yeah.
almost starting to sprout up just from the marijuana industry because they're
Mhm.
moving so much expensive product. And it's kind of funny. This goes back to a little bit. It shines light on something about money.
Mhm.
It's just like the cost whenever the money or the good that you're moving around is like a physical thing. Uh, like if you're forced to move it physically, like it's really expensive. Like they're hiring security dudes in armored cars and all sorts of shit. They don't want to be doing that, but of course the federal government's putting them in that place.
Right.
But yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like all that, it's a Wild West time, and like it's booming in Oklahoma,
Mhm.
and it's weird. Of all places, like why would it be Oklahoma
Yeah.
where things are booming so much lately?
I will say though,
Yeah.
here's my negative. I've been trying to be so like optimistic and shit recently, but there have been a lot of places I've gone that are just like kind of a pitiful example of a medical marijuana business. If it's gonna be medical,
Oh yeah.
if it's gonna be like medical, you know what I'm saying? Which I'm all for it being primarily medical. I don't care if it's recreational or not. It is booming here, and the people that are doing it right are doing it right. But I can tell that it was just it basically got passed to be medical, so people could finally just smoke marijuana, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a means
And
to an
maybe
end.
maybe
And
I'm
it's
ignorant. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not into the. Maybe I'm not in with the actual like medical crowd of marijuana, but um, that's at least my experience at all these farms and stuff. Like the I won't get into it, but like the I don't know, health code shit. I don't know, things like that are it's very vague. There's still like vague lines. It is a wild west still. It feels like
Yeah.
out here at least.
And there's like a showy nature to where all of the or a lot of the marijuana stores are kind of like fronting as like health benefits and like medic like there was a store by my old house in Oklahoma City called Mediwana. Just Mediwana. It's just
Yeah,
like you didn't even try.
right,
Or there's like first health, first alert, urgent help.
right.
Like I don't know, like as if you're stopping in, you're like, oh, I'm having a heart attack. Like give me, I don't know, some fucking pills or whatever. Like you're stopping in to save your life, but it's obvious that everyone there is, or not everyone, most people are just kind of using it recreationally,
Hmm.
which is fine. But generally, it's always good to have things come around medically and like serve those who need it,
Right.
like rather than just want it. Like you want to get to those people first and highlight them first, because we're talking very casually about all of this, but for some people, like using marijuana is like they need it for their chronic pain,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
hugely alleviating. And I mean, I even started smoking because for my sleep, not that I have terrible sleep problems or I'm an example of a person like that, but you know, like it,
Dude,
like checking those boxes first.
that's what RSO is. Rick Simpson oil. Have you
Rick
ever
Simpson,
have
no,
you ever had that? It helps with like pain and body healing and cancer, arthritis. It's fucking strong. It is strong shit.
yeah,
Um, but every time I've had it, it alleviates anxiety for me, like in a medical way. It's weird. It's like it's strong. It's just that it comes in this little like syringe thingy that doesn't have a needle, but you like one little drop and you like put it on your tongue or you like put it in food. You can like mix it in olive oil. You can put it in your honey, like, and you just ingest it, or you can smoke it in a dab thing if you want. You could put it in a pen. Um, that's like the most medical thing I think I've had here because you can ingest it orally and you can smoke it as well.
yeah.
But it is like it's like you could see the devil strong. Like if you take too much, um, it's not a good time.
Yeah. No, and I remember hearing those stories of like kids getting seizures and CBD would like help
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
alleviate that. And then they couldn't get like parents were complaining because they couldn't get it in their state
Mm,
and their child is suffering.
yeah,
And it's
having
like such a one of those like super obvious, like, I don't
yeah,
know,
it could
cases where you're
help
like, this is
them
so
and
wrong.
well, and that's what's crazy is like that stuff. Um, it really just it didn't numb me, but it made things feel dull is not the right word either because I was able to like do my everyday activities with it. It just alleviated. I don't know. Is alleviating? I guess is the word. Which
Yeah.
I have anxiety every day about just different shit, just general like anxiety, and sometimes smoking can increase that. But RSO, that oil was like, I don't know, there's something about it. I need to do more research or maybe ask the guys that I work with more about it. Like the compounds of it, what makes it, you know, what what terpenes are in it or if are there any like, what how is it chemically made that way to like be effective? Um
Yeah.
Especially if they're talking about like it helping with cancer. I mean, that's like a very important selling point in my opinion for marijuana. That's why I like marijuana is because I heard it could be a potential. Um, it can help with at least like help
Well, at
with
least alleviate
appetite
the pain.
and alleviate pain, give them
Yeah.
appetite. Um, yeah, I mean,
Like if I
RSOs.
was going on chemo, I would want to be able to smoke or
Right, right.
consume marijuana
Yeah, yeah,
in some way.
definitely. Yeah, and I think if more people start taking that seriously, like it could be super powerful in Oklahoma because we have like OU Medical Center and all that shit, like I feel like it could be a unstoppable force of like good benefits but there's been a lot of stigma here about
Yeah.
marijuana for a long time. So it might take a couple years and maybe that's in the works, who knows. But
No, it is. Like I think all of this stuff is going to be incorporated into our medical system.
mhm.
And like jumping back to MAPS, like the nonprofit for studying psychedelics, like they're at the forefront of this, trying to bring this into a more traditional medical and psychological framework. Like all these different substances, like MDMA, especially for like depression therapy or therapy for trauma.
Ketamine, I've heard, like
Yeah,
it's
ketamine
being used recently.
for
Obviously
depression.
shrooms.
Yeah. And I don't know if you just imagine, like when I think about what would it truly, like if I'm imagining the most optimal, like future version of the medical system and like what would be available for people, you imagine that it's the full cornucopia of like everything from nature, everything made in a lab, treatments, like natural, like meditation, yoga, like the full spectrum of like all of those, and then food, like good healthy food, like the full spectrum of all of those like key predictors of just well-being.
Mhm.
That like that should all be a part of the medical system. And right now, especially talking about food, like food is so removed from the medical system. Like the medical system starts after the point that most people have already eaten their way into like this health,
Yeah.
maybe by their own knowledge, or like maybe they didn't know, or maybe they got poisoned or something like that from the food,
Yeah.
which has happened many times, like in fast food places in the past.
Right.
So I don't like that's just what if I imagine like what if we did this great? What if we did
Mhm.
this like 10 out of 10? What would that look like? And it's clearly it'd be like, yeah, some people they just need, maybe a vegan diet and some yoga. And maybe then some people they need to do powerlifting and carnivore diet. And then maybe some people they need to do like MDMA and like
Right.
I don't know, do this treatment and this treatment. Like different people were so uh, the differences between us are so large that
Mhm.
it's you never know what it's going to be for you.
And
But
that's what
that's also
happened.
why it's important that we have the freedom to even be able to experiment for ourselves.
Yeah, and that I was just about to say that's what happens when you shelter society and like when you look at parents that shelter kids or something, like they're gonna still find a way to uh to do whatever you're sheltering them from. And
Yeah,
so the ways are going to get more quote unquote nefarious because they're not allowed to do it or whatever. And it's the same thing with why drugs have been illegal. People have been killed over them
yeah,
because of, I don't know, poor judgment of our leaders, not of like all that shit. But
no, totally. Yeah, the drug. When we look back at the drug war, with enough, which we already kind of are. I mean, young
yeah,
people are people who are,
we
really
saw
have.
the tail end of it, like for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still happening,
Yeah, yeah.
which is crazy. But yeah, we're just gonna look back at it. It's gonna seem ridiculous. It's gonna be such an injustice, so obvious.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
mean, the obvious broken record fact of people are still incarcerated for marijuana, like
mhm.
still, and that's crazy. I mean, I hate using that word. That's crazy, man. But like, Uh, it is. It really is. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
but I know it's a topic that like people have driven into the ground, but it's weird that things still haven't gotten taken care of involving it, you know?
yeah. And it's so crazy when they have like army commercials and CIA commercials and shit where they're trying to like put up front like look at this Latina woman who's a commander, look at this like this girl who didn't know that she would the army was ever for her, and like we're gonna outline her life in a commercial and show you, and like they'll virtue signal with that
Hmm.
kind of stuff, but at the same time like this is the same institution that just like imprisons millions of people, like, and it's the most terrible topic when you start to dig into it, and I can't spend, it's not my area of deep inquiry. Like it's just when I go down it, it makes me so upset,
Yeah.
and I have no rational, I have no rational thing to do with the emotions I start to feel. But um, yeah, it's a travesty that we put people behind bars for wanting to change their own consciousness
Yeah.
and doing that of their own free will, and like that's not going to age well. It's definitely not going to age well, but
Well, it's
hopefully like with going back to medical, like serving medical needs, like that's where you get some where you can show some of the most signal
mhm.
for that, like this should be legalized and definitely should not be punished.
Yeah.
And so
Did you see that Olympic shit that happened?
oh the
Shakari Richardson.
no
She got
wait
suspended. She was supposed to be in the Olympics, but she got suspended because she tested positive for marijuana.
wow
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. I hate that shit. Like I've heard of also like basketball players or even fighters. Like I don't know if they got suspended also, but they got shit for it, and it's like holy fuck. Like can't they like let their bodies relax?
yeah Shakari Richardson. WADA's marijuana rules are outdated. Oh, well, that's their headline, obviously, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's
But yeah,
crazy though.
yeah.
Damn, 21-year-old athlete turned pro.
Like, what 21-year-old athlete is not fucking using marijuana? I'm sure there's some, but damn. But that's what I'm talking about too. Like, and
But it's like this.
these are the people that inspire me to go run, like, and be active. But I'm still smoking marijuana or I'm still eating it. You know, like,
Yeah,
there's obvious professional athletes that are fucking amazing that use it and probably use it for very serious reasons or just to fucking relax and just chill out and enjoy.
or to work out, like you're
Yeah,
saying. Like
yeah.
it's such a huge.
Like
Like I've
it's
heard of UFC fighters using it for like intense workouts and stuff
yeah.
like that.
It can take you
So
to a place. It helps you get introspective, like we were talking about, and it's fucked up that a government can just decide you can't do that. But
yeah,
some of these states you can do it, or I guess it's the Olympics, so it's a world thing. But I'm sure a government's involved in somehow, somehow or
yeah,
another.
and you see it in I mean, in stories like that, like it highlights, like because of how ambiguous and large and dumb the drug war is, like lots of people will skim by and get away with it, but then the rules can be enforced when you're trying to discriminate specifically.
Mm,
Like it seems like it was with her, and a lot of times it highlights classism. I think like
mm-hmm.
most glaringly, where you see just poor people on balance are the ones that get the worst of the enforcement of the drug laws.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a lot of times people like us, like we'll kind of get, not that we're selling drugs necessarily or using
Right.
more than marijuana, but like we don't have the same kinds of fears. Like it just highlights how fucked up it is, and
Mm-hmm.
like how much basically privilege can come into play with that. But
Yeah.
I don't even like to call it privilege. It's more of just like, are you being targeted by by the entity or not?
Right. Right.
Because there's not natural privilege there. It's just like the entity is not oppressing you like it's oppressing other people.
Mhm.
So
Well, I do kind of see some like vague like privilege here in Oklahoma though in it, like in the
uh,
marijuana industry for sure, because there are like equal amount dispensaries there are to churches
yeah,
in Oklahoma City. It seems like, and all of them are just like, yeah. It just I don't know. It seems it's weird. It's weird to be illegal for so long and now it's suddenly legal and all the it seems like from the outside, it seems like a certain group of people are benefiting from it now and there are people sitting in jail that were benefiting from it and were very smart about it until they got caught. Sadly.
yeah.
A lot of future businessmen and women probably that would be thriving right now in this fucking green rush, but they can't because they're sitting in the can because of some
Yeah.
bullshit law that we've had for so long.
See, when
And
really they're
now
industrious.
because the prisons are so fucked, they're probably a little more fucked. And like maybe
Yeah,
they
like
had to do things to survive, and now they're mentally fucked.
yeah,
It's like I mean,
the
I'm
whole.
speaking out of my ass, so
No, no, definitely. This you're getting in the place where like I always get when I start thinking about this. I'm just like pissed, and I don't have
yeah,
anything intelligent to say. It's just like this is fucking terrible.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
But what are we
it has
gonna
to
do about it?
stop.
Like we're sitting
Yeah.
here just talking on Zoom.
And in other news, though, I saw this and I thought it was funny. Dubai creates its own rain to battle 50 C, I'm guessing I mean Celsius heat using zapper drones that cause showers.
What?
So this is like rainfall
Produced by drones?
produced by drones in Dubai.
No way.
Yeah. I saw someone retweeted this and they're like, y'all, the theorists, they have one leg up now after seeing this or
Oh my
something.
gosh.
Now we're gonna start saying rain is fake.
What the hell?
Yeah, so they making it rain.
What? Man, you brought this up in the right episode.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's and obviously it must be in pretty small areas or
That's
whatever.
insane
Like
still
they're
though.
probably just moving, but I hope they start to use that shit for wildfires or
Yeah,
something.
oh yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be
I mean, use it
useful.
for something
Well,
really.
drones just remind me of the Colorado. Have you heard of the I think it was 2 years ago, there were fleets of drones that nobody knew like who they fucking belonged to. Maybe we even talked about this a long
No,
time
I
ago.
don't remember this.
Colorado drone fleet. Um oh, it might be solved finally. No, basically, no one was taking responsibility for these big flights of drones that were flying over parts of like Colorado, and they would just see them, and their agencies, um, Federal Aviation Administration claimed ignorance, and people are saying it could be like secret Air Force program or some shit, but the Air Force isn't claiming um, ownership, but they're also not denying it or some shit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's what I found. See that? How do you once there's a certain number of drones just like deployed? Like, how
Mm,
do you even keep track of all of them? Like
yeah,
one person could have hundreds.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy. Maybe it was another country, but it's
You
like
saying
why?
that for some reason.
Like drones are obvious. Like you could just have a satellite,
Yeah, that's true.
but
Drones and weed, man. That'll be
yeah,
the name of the
drone weed
episode.
delivery is coming.
Drone weed delivery.
It's fucking coming.
When until it's pizza. I've seen the self-driving pizza cars. When are they going to be drones?
Well, I wonder like what the when I think about the future of the marijuana industry, definitely drones come into my head, but I don't know.
Uber
It's
Eats, but marijuana.
yeah. Well, they already have that, don't they?
Bong
California.
Bong Appetit. Yeah, I think so. It's
Bong
called
appetit.
I
Dude,
think
we need to go buy that URL.
yeah, I'm sure it's already made.
Yeah, you're right. God
It's
damn it.
I probably heard that from somewhere and just mimicked it. I'm trying to remember what the California company was called. I don't fucking remember. Yeah, they have
Dude,
a weed delivery.
domain name, like we were talking about collectibles, like collecting video games, but like people who collect domain names, like
Oh
that's
yeah. Yeah.
they flex on those.
Damn, imagine if you could have like got Nike.
Just Nike.com.
Yeah.
Well, you would have sold it to them in like 1999 for like $100,000. You'd be like, yes. But really, it's worth like, yeah,
Yeah.
like $10 million or
Right.
something.
Right.
This CEO that's really into Bitcoin, he also has a bunch of domains. CEO of MicroStrategy, and if you go to like hope.com, and it like tells you about Bitcoin, or you can go to strategy.com. That's another
Yeah.
one he has. Just strategy.com, and it's like it shows every other like stock versus Bitcoin and how bad it's done versus Bitcoin. So it's like it's just like a weird flex. Like he's just flexing on everyone. He's like, I'm gonna put this here because like I own this shit, and he doesn't ever have to sell it. But I don't know. I wonder who owns weed.com.
Weed.com.
That's a valuable one.
I'm gonna look it up on my phone right now. Weed.com.
It's probably like, see, eventually some tech company will buy it out. Weed Maps will buy it out. Well, I guess they would just do weedmaps.com. Like, why buy the expensive one?
The
Yeah,
first,
people
the
go to
main
work.
page says Delta 8 edibles.
Whoa,
The
the full loop.
full loop around. It's just a
Yeah,
bunch of edible stuff.
yeah.
Delta 8 THC crispy treat for $7.99. They got vapes. They got flour. They've got gummies.
It better. It's
It's
weed.com.
weed.com. Bundle and save.
If you have that domain and you're not like using it to its fullest, it's like powerful. It's powerful shit right there.
They're
It's the ring of power.
they're selling Delta 8, Delta 10, THCV, CBD. Crazy. They're selling crazy.
Man, we're still in the Wild West, that's for sure. I have no idea what this industry is going to look like, but weed.com will still be around at least.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope one day I can get a job at weed.com and it's a VR. The job is a VR video game where I'm flying a drone through rings in the real world, but they're virtual rings and I have to deliver the precious cargo.
Oh, so you're the delivery boy,
So
but
I'm
you're
the
like
delivery
planning
boy, but my
remotely.
job is in a computer chair all day, lean back, and my epic skills in games, in video games,
They
and
pay
being
off.
stoned pay off in one.
That's the only hope for these weed fucking video game nerds. That's their only goddamn hope.
Yeah, you got to make their video game a full-time job, but the full-time job is a drone just delivering shit all day. It could work.
Yeah,
It could
it's a
work.
compelling vision. But sweet, you want to call it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for
Perfect.
watching, y'all.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.